Nail or beauty school was just the beginning, right? What on earth do you do now? Welcome to the Salon Success Podcast with Monaco Nail Academy. Our topics stretch beyond nails and into all things salon related, business, marketing, and social media, and at the very least hits you with real, honest stories about our experiences. This isn't school, this is real life, real business, and really freaking hard work. Before we get started, wherever you are, thumbs up, tag a friend in the comments, or hit that share button and support small business. Hey guys, Penny here from Monaco Nail Academy, and today I'm joined by Erin.
Hey.
And by Pat.
Kia ora.
And we're going to be talking about deposits and booking fees.
And just a reminder before we get started to use my code Little Moon for 10% off all courses. I get a kickback from these enrollments and they're how we support the production of the podcast.
And my code is Patsitive.
So before we get stuck into our new topic for the week, let's revisit last week. Pat, what were we chatting about?
Last week we had Emma Fraser from the New Zealand Association of Registered Beauty Professionals come and join us and just talk to us about her experience as a salon owner, as well as what it's like to be a part of the NZBA, and also what do they do behind the scenes. So that was quite informative, lots of learning. Yeah. Erin, are you a member of the NZBA?
I was, and I think it is really useful to be because it covers you for your indemnity insurance and that as well. But just for financial reasons, I haven't renewed my membership this year. But I probably will look at doing that, joining again. I think it's worthwhile.
Oh, cool. So like you saw your main benefit was the indemnity insurance. I think Emma talked to us about that.
Yeah, and I think it's just like you get a monthly email and stuff like that with information in it, and yeah, it keeps you kind of up to speed with what's going on in the industry and things like that. So it's definitely handy to be a part of.
Cool.
So from the association through to some more policy stuff, let's chat about deposits and booking fees. So deposits and booking fees can be super handy for clients who request to book multiple treatments, group bookings, or for peak appointment times, like bookings where if they got cancelled, this will have a detrimental effect on your ability to pay the bills that week. So like someone who books multiple treatments or a group booking, if they're taking 4 hours of your time and then they're going to cancel that like ruins your day and possibly your week if you're part-time. Same thing with peak appointment times where you're relying on really decent income and then they're gone. Like that can really, like I said, ruin your week. What are your guys' thoughts or existing policies on deposits or like requiring a fee to be able to book?
Currently, with my situation, as you guys know, I contract for someone else and we don't have a deposit system there, but we have talked about over the Christmas period making that something that we should have, because last Christmas we found that there were people that booked and then no-showed and stuff like that, people that we didn't know, not regulars. And during that time it's so busy, so that when that happens, it can really muck you up because you've got regulars that might be trying to get in as well, and then that person's just like wasted a slot. It's not as bad when somebody gives you some notice to cancel, because then you can potentially fill it, but definitely having that deposit helps, I think, so that you know that you're not just wasting that spot and losing that income, because it's the best time of year for us, as we all know. Yeah. What about you, Pat?
So at the moment, I do not require a deposit for Patsitive Beauty. And when I contract and work at Penny Salon, I don't think, do you do deposits?
So we don't take a deposit. We do, so we use Fresher as a booking system. You can set it to take a deposit, but it also takes the person's credit card to secure the booking. and then tells them the policy is 50% for 48-hour or less cancellation and 100% for no-shows, and it will allow me to take the money when that happens. So I don't currently take a deposit before the booking, but I do have that security still.
Yeah, I was just thinking to myself as we were reflecting on this, right? I was like, do I need to require a deposit if Fresha does that? So I think what I need to do is I just need to go and double check. Have I required cards to be on file on Fresha? I just need to make sure that my policy is there. Because I think for me, I'm not too bothered about needing a deposit if there is a card on file, because then that means I can still get the money owed to me.
Well, you still have to set it as a policy though,
Yeah.
because you can't just randomly be taking people some money.
Sure. Yes, I need to double check if I've got that set up. Yeah, I know other people though that, because some people they prefer to do their bookings just like casually through Instagram, for example, like direct messages. They do take deposit via like bank transfer, and that's their way of feeling secure that this person will show up and that they have committed to the booking. Because some, like, I know I've spoken to a couple nail techs who are fairly new to the industry, and they said that like they used to not require deposits, and then they had people muck them around, and so then that's why they required it. Yeah.
One time I've always enforced deposits is like around Christmas, because the week before Christmas books out super early. People are planning their nail appointments around the holidays coming, looking nice for like Christmas holiday, New Year's, like all that sort of thing, especially here in New Zealand where Christmas is in the summer, so people are going away on holiday, not just off to like family events and stuff. So that time books out really early. The problem is the week before Christmas is also when people are trying to get everything done before the holidays, and priorities shift as the week goes on. So like a deposit can be a really good way of deterring cancellations, because people don't want to lose their deposit. So then they'll make an extra effort to prioritize their appointment with you. And then if they do have to cancel and forfeit their deposit, at least you still get paid for a spot that you can't refill. Like one year at Christmas, like this happens all the time, but one that sticks in my head is like a regular client was like, it was a Friday afternoon, it was leading up to Christmas, like, you know, the 7 days before Christmas kind of thing, and she texted with like an hour to go and was like, I can't come to my appointment, can you cancel it? And I was like, I don't think it was a deposit thing, I think it was like that there was a cancellation fee, but you know, same idea. And I said, I can, but there'll be a 50% cancellation fee payable before you can rebook. And then she was like, oh, I'll come anyway. It was just drinks with the boys, because she worked at like a mechanics, like, so they were having beers in the yard after, and she wanted to stay for that. And that's why she was, that the thing is, clients aren't thinking about the fact that that completely ruins my day. Like, she's thinking, oh, like she's always fully booked, like not always, but you know, like people sometimes have the impression she's always busy, there's always someone before and after me, so she's busy. No, I just book everyone concisely so I'm not scattered throughout the day. But people think like, oh, it's just one appointment, I always turn up. No, it's actually like 50% of my groceries for the week, or it's like an eighth of, I don't know what percent. It's like, it's a portion of my mortgage. It's a, like, it is my ability to live my life. So when you then add in that deposit or booking fee, something that they will lose if they cancel, suddenly you move up the priority list.
Yeah. And I think this idea of like, because I feel like nail techs kind of haven't been always taken very seriously either. And I think that's shifting more now. I think people kind of just like, you know, you like, for example, your mechanic and other places, you would never not turn up because you take it more seriously and you know that that's their full-time job, and you know. But I think a lot of people have had that idea in their head that, oh, it's just a nail appointment, you know. They don't think about us as like that being our full-time job and our income kind of thing, if you follow what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think as well, like with the nail industry specifically, people are fairly used to like walk-in salons, so then they're not necessarily thinking about like more boutique salons like what we have.
I think it's just really easy for people to more be thinking about themselves, Not to say that people are selfish, but it makes sense that psychologically we consider ourselves first, or we put ourselves up higher in the priority list. So if you're the client, you're just thinking to yourself, oh, I'm not having the best day, or oh, I've got so much to do, I'm just gonna like move my appointment. That shouldn't be a big deal. But then without considering that there's another person on the other end of your appointment who is relying on you to show up and pay them because you've set up that time. So I guess a deposit or a booking fee, like that kind of thing, having policies in place helps people to remember that, or even if they don't think about it, there's a mechanism for you to be considered in the scenario as a nail tech, even if your client's not thinking about you, because then at least you're going to get paid somehow. Yeah. And then they will consider themselves like, oh, because there's a financial, there's money on the line. Now I'm going to show up.
Yeah, like they're partially committed.
What amount do you think is appropriate for a deposit or a booking fee?
I think if I were to do a deposit, like people talk about different things, right? Like some people will say you should do it percentage based, and some people are like, I'll do a flat rate. I think if I were to do something like a group booking, or like let's say I had to organize another nail tech to come with me to go to a group, then I think it would make sense to have like a 50% deposit, because it's like massive. Or if you're like doing a bridal party, because then it's like high stakes. You've already organized not just your time, but someone else's. And if you're going to be away for like a day, like you should be compensated for that upfront. And that's pretty standard for things like if, again, talking about weddings, like if you're going to a hairdresser or you're going to a makeup artist, they will charge you the booking fee in advance or something. And it makes sense for group. I think if it was just like for one appointment, I think it has to be a number that you're comfortable with. I don't know, like did we talk about this in the refunds episode? Anyway, like I would probably do something that's like a flat rate, just because it's easier to remember, and maybe easier for the system to compute if the system allows it.
For some reason, 20% just jumps into my brain. I don't know why, but I feel like 20% would, because it would depend on the booking that they book, which could vary in time. So compared to like gel polish is not going to take as long as, say, by overlay. So for me, in my mind, 20% of the total amount seems to just sit right in my mind for some reason.
I think like there's certain circumstances where it can be acceptable to require it to be like 100% prepaid, but most of the time what I hear is like 20 or 25%, 50%, or a flat fee of $25. Like I hear that flat fee quite often. Because I think the other thing to remember is like as the deposit amount increases, so does client resistance. Like 50% deposit will deter more people than a 25% deposit, for example. But the thing is, like when people are stressed about a deposit or when it deters them, my thing is like good, because they wouldn't be bothered by it unless they thought there was a chance they would cancel last minute, because you're not asking for them, like it's not extra money, it's not money they weren't already going to spend. You're saying like this is only going to be an issue if you cancel with only like 48 hours or less notice, or if you no show. So if someone has integrity and is planning on turning up to their appointment, they should be like, okay, well, I'm going to give it to you anyway, so who cares? If someone's like having a shitty about it, that probably means they think there's a chance they'll have to pay it. So then good, be deterred.
Yeah, because we don't want them.
Yeah. Exactly, because if you think that there's a chance you're going to have to pay a fee for nothing, then you're telling me there's a chance that I'm going to miss out on your appointment.
Something that just popped in my head too while you were saying that is, like, I think the whole membership thing's starting to become a thing too. So, like, people will be paying a set weekly amount, and then when it comes to their appointment, they might only have a small balance left to pay or none at all as well. So that's kind of similar to having a deposit. I don't know if you guys have seen that sort of starting to get advertised a lot more lately on social media and things. Yeah.
I definitely see that a lot. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think it makes sense that it's becoming more popular these days, especially because we're used to paying for subscriptions in so many things with so many things. Like we pay subscription for Netflix, Spotify, all sorts. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna come to you regularly, therefore I'll pay a regular fee. And also it's just like psychologically, like letting go of $20 a week is easier than letting go of $60 in one go or whatever the amount, but it's just like a psychological thing. It's so funny.
I think it's a great idea, and I think it's solves a lot of financially it deters people from putting something like that in place for themselves, like going and having that hour appointment or hour and a half appointment for themselves, So if they're paying it weekly, like for example, say a solo mother who is on, only got one income, but she really deserves that hour appointment once every 3 weeks for herself, she's more likely to commit to that if she's only paying a small amount each week,
I think my only thing is just being in the industry for so long. I just think like as I understand it, the way most people are doing it is like you pay, say for example, $20 a week, and then every 3 weeks you get your service, right? Is that what you're seeing more?
Yeah, I think so.
So then like what happens when someone goes, okay, cool. So like are you booking them every third Thursday at 5 so that they're in on their cycle? Or is it up to them to just message when they need their nails done? And then are they having to book, like, say you're on a 6-month membership and so it works out to whatever, I'm not going to do the maths, but like 10 appointments, and then they get to the end and they're like, oh well, I pushed out these ones so I've only used 8. Like I just feel like it's going to get messy, and I don't know if I can be bothered with all of the admin that comes with trying to keep people happy and set expectations. Like I think if I were to do a membership, it would have to be like you get one appointment every 3 weeks. The appointment is between this date and this date. Where you have it, I don't care, but they cannot be carried over.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. I was on a membership for lashes to get my lashes done before. Unfortunately, my lash extension person is no longer doing lashes. But anyway, so what I would pay a weekly amount, and we had organized what services I would get, and it was I think 3 weekly for the lashes, and then I had brows as well. And then we predetermined roughly what date and days and times my preferences were, and then kind of pre-booked that like on a 3 monthly basis. And then I think the software kept track of how much I've paid, am I on time? If I'm on time, then I don't need to pay anything when I go to my services. But if I'm behind, which didn't happen, but in theory, if I were behind, then I would pay the balance at the appointment. And it's kind of funny because I am someone who would be deterred by a 50% booking fee, a deposit fee thing. Even though I will show up to my appointment, but for some reason I'm like, I don't want to pay a 50% deposit. But I will happily agree to be on a membership for 6 months or a year and pay a regular amount anyway. And it will probably work out more expensive because I've committed to the frequency. But for whatever reason in my head, I'm like, well, it's a subscription. That's fine. But a deposit, I'm like, no, I don't want to pay that. Like, why, brain? I don't know.
I think I'm a little bit similar to you in that respect as well, Pat. Like, it just seems like such a large number to let go of without having received what I wanted, if that makes sense. Obviously, I wouldn't care paying once I've received the service, but not having received the service then and there, letting go of 50% of it in my mind too is just like, whoa, no, I don't want to. And I don't know why either.
But then brides never question a deposit. Like that's something that's just built up in the wedding industry, is that everything requires a deposit. So it goes back to like setting and resetting the expectations in our industry, because the wedding industry has made it totally normal to ask for a deposit for everything. And therefore, if I get a bridal party booking for like 3 or 4 people, fingers and toes, like all of the things, and I say, yeah, no worries, I can book that out, I'll just need a 50% deposit, which will be this much, almost exclusively the bride goes, okay, cool, what's your account number?
Yeah. And I think that sort of touches back on what I was talking about earlier, that, and it is shifting, and we are the ones that have to make it shift by implementing it. And I think more and more as we talk about it amongst each other, we're all starting to follow suit, and take ourselves more seriously and portray that image that we are professionals and that we do deserve it, rather than being like, oh yeah, I'm just a nail tech kind of thing.
I think as well, like if people, like listeners, nail techs, beauty therapists, hairdressers, feel resistant to the idea of charging a deposit, one thing I have done instead, because like I've changed like how I feel about it back and forth. So one thing I've done instead sometimes is no deposit, no issue. But if somebody cancels, then I say to them, that's fine, but from now on your appointments will be prepaid. So like, cool, there's no deposit, but the second that you show me that you're unreliable, you now have to prepay. And it's not even a deposit, it's you just prepay it. And it's non-refundable.
Yeah.
You want to book with me again after screwing me around once, well, now you have to pay me in advance.
Yeah, and I think it's completely justifiable. And I think anybody that argues that point would just be like, okay, well, don't come back. They're not going to come back, are they?
Because it wouldn't be an issue if they weren't planning on, or not planning on cancelling, but if they didn't think there was a chance, it wouldn't be an issue.
I think brides are so like, they've just got so much to organise when they're planning their wedding too, that for them, paying a deposit is like, right, I've secured that. That's organised. That's sorted. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Done. Tick it off their list or whatever.
Hey guys, Penny here, and I'm just dropping in to let you know about our free 5-day marketing training, The Client Magnet. So we all want more clients, right? And I know a lot of people think the only way to attract newbies is with a deal or a discount. So cue the buzzer sound, wrong. We've put together a free 5-day program just for you, people who want to boost bookings and grow their business the smart way. So if you're just starting out, or if you're looking to boost your existing business, this is perfect for you. If you know you need more clients, but you're overwhelmed and you don't know where to start, isn't that all of us? Or you want better quality clients, ones who know your worth and book in regularly and tell all their friends about you. Or maybe you're stuck in a trap of offering deals and you know it's damaging the value of your services. Or just maybe you've seen enough cute inspo reels to last a lifetime and you've got the motivation, but you just need actionable step-by-step strategies to grow your salon bookings. If any of these resonate with you, you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Let's get you started. You're going to get 5 daily videos where we teach you how to identify your ideal client, where to find them, and how to attract them into your salon with no discounts required. You're going to get step-by-step guidance, no fluffy stuff here. We're going to cut to the chase and give you real steps that you can do right now for actual real change. And then you're going to get live Q&As with direct access to our mentors via an exclusive group chat. They'll answer your questions and provide insights to help you succeed. And finally, community support. The competition-free zone is alive and well. Use our exclusive Magnet group chat to network with fellow participants, share experiences, ask questions, and support each other. Now, if you're thinking, I'm so busy, I don't have time for this, that's fine. The lessons are pre-recorded, the Q&A is live, but it all fits around any schedule, and every aspect is optional. So if you get busy, you just do it later. Soak up what you can, you'll get something out of it. I know you're afraid to fail, but what if you don't? What if we just do this? So head to www.monaco.ac.nz/magnet. You don't have to be a nail tech. You can be any service industry, to be honest, but any corner of the beauty world, this will work for you. So www.monaco.ac.nz/magnet, and I'll see you inside the course. My one exception to fees, because right now, like I said, I don't have deposits or booking fees. I sometimes think I should reconsider it for Christmas again because of all the things. But I'm now in a beach town, a holiday town. So for the 4 weeks that cover the 10 days before Christmas and then for 4 weeks, I don't need to charge a fee. When I was in the city, it was different. But here, I will get a notification on my phone that someone has cancelled, and within the next hour, I'll get a notification that spot's gone again. In our specific town, we could do 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for that 4-week period and be fully booked the entire time. So I don't need that. But I still have, like I said, the 50% fee inside 48 hours, 100% fee for a no-show. My exception is if I can fill your spot. So if someone is messaging saying they need to cancel, and if it was an online booking, they just cancel themselves, cool. Fresher takes care of that. It has them agree to the policy, and then it just does it for me, and it's lovely, and I don't have to have any confrontation. But if it is by text message or whatever, I'll say to them okay, cool, there's a 50% cancellation fee inside 48 hours unless I can fill your spot. Do you know anyone who would want it? And that puts the power back in their court. So they're not being told you have to pay this. They're being told there's something you can do about it. You have the option to either fill it or pay it. And often people will go, oh, my friend will take it, my mum will take it, or whatever, or well, I'll get my toes done, something like that. It's a very easy way of putting the admin off your plate back onto the person that's causing it.
That's actually such a good way of handling it. And I've never considered that. So that's definitely getting written down in my notepad.
That is so smart. Yeah, I'm like you, Erin. I'm write this down.
Yeah.
Because I only need it
definitely.
because I lost money. So if I'm not losing money, I don't need it, and we can all be happy. Or I'll say to them, if they say, I'm sorry, I don't know anyone, I'll say, no worries, I'll let you know at 10 a.m., whatever their appointment time was. No worries, I'll let you know at 10 a.m. if I've filled the spot, and otherwise the fee will apply. And then it's just not being so hard-assed. They kind of understand that you're trying to help them.
Quite often, a lot of us are we really enjoy our clients, our regular clients. We usually know, because they're sort of the exception to the rule. If they message and they're like, my daughter's really sick, or my son's had an accident or whatever, then you're not going to be like, oh, well, you still have to pay me. Are you? You have a little bit of compassion for, genuinely certain circumstances, where it's really out of their control.
What I'll usually do in those circumstances, because again, we teach people how to treat us and we're setting expectations all the time. If someone messages and says, my daughter's sick or whatever, I'll say, no worries at all. There's usually a 50% cancellation fee inside 48 hours, but because you're always on time and this is exceptional circumstances, I'll waive it. I just wanted to let you know so you knew it would apply next time. Because if you say no worries and you're thinking it's because of exceptional circumstances, they don't know that that's why you're making the exception. And the thing is, some of the people that are saying my daughter's sick or my whatever, they are lying. So what sticks in your head as that awful time that Pat had to cancel because a tornado ripped through her house, you're feeling all this empathy. Pat's sitting back with a wine in her hand being like, yeah, sweet, I can buy another bottle.
Knock on wood that there's no tornado.
Like,
hopefully I am lying.
it's not going to stick in Pat's head or, you know, this imaginary person's head that you were kind in an exceptional circumstance, because there was no exceptional circumstance, and people do that all the time. So I think by just saying, no worries, I'm making an exception because this is the first time, but next time this will apply. It's just setting a better expectation so they're not going to be pissy next time when you actually enforce it. And they're like, oh, you never told me that last time. Last time it was fine. Because that's what will happen. They'll go, oh, but I cancelled last week and it was fine. Okay, but last week a tornado ripped through your house. What tornado? I don't remember a tornado. Like, I sound so jaded and cold-hearted, but I've been doing this nearly 17 years, and let me tell you, this is experience.
I think it's so good that you are jaded and you have the experience, because then you can tell the rest of us to toughen up and harden up and like be realistic instead of like living rainbows and ponies when it's not that world.
Yeah, I'm the balance in the podcast where I'm jaded and exhausted and you guys are like, it'll be fine.
We're like, YOLO, and you're like, no, but you have to live through it. So you have to make it work. I'm like, okay.
And it's so funny, Penny, because like I am so exhausted by people lately, and I'm just like, I'm my own worst enemy, and I know I am. And I'm learning though. I am learning. You guys have been wonderful at teaching me. You know, like I just have to. And the thing, like you said before about, because I would do that, I'd be like, oh, no worries, da da da, and then I wouldn't say the next bit about, but next time it will apply, because I just wouldn't click in my head. But I'm teaching myself to make it click. That makes sense.
This kind of comes back to like boundaries and setting expectations, right? Because like we talk about, I think in previous podcast episodes, we've talked about making sure we're separating home life from work life. And this is a little bit of that, but it's about teaching our clients how to treat us also, so that we don't burn ourselves out, because it's so easy for us to like go above and beyond for no reason, and then people take it for granted, and then we'll end up feeling like jaded and upset. And it's like, well, we would have put ourselves in that situation because we allowed people to take advantage of us, and then the end result is that nobody's happy, and then now we don't want to do nails, and then we're going to get a new job. And it's like, well, that's not what we want. So if we do these things and request the deposit and have the policies in place and be clear in our communications when we're saying we're giving people, like, we're letting things slide, but here's why, then it's easier for us to like feel good in ourselves that we've honored ourselves in our work, but also we're still doing the right thing by our clients, because it's not like we're just asking for deposits for no reasons or charging up like a cancellation fee for no reason. There's like genuine reasons for it, and they know what to expect, assuming we communicated it, then it should be fine.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, it's all the boundaries and everything. It's all a work in progress, because I don't know this because I set boundaries and policies from day one. No. I know this because I don't like conflict any more than anyone else. And because I've done all the things that led to the people saying all of the resistance, like, it's really important that once you have a cancellation policy, it's on your website under policies. It's easy to find. It's in your booking system. So like when people book on Fresher with us, it's on the online page. It's in the booking. Like, you have to tick that you agree to it. Like it says, by making this booking, you agree to this. Fresher even will pop up and say, client agreed to 50% cancellation fee. do you want to charge it? And then you can untick and say like, no, I don't. So like if the reason that you're canceling the appointment is because, say I cancel an appointment because I'm sick, well, I'm not going to charge the fee. So you can untick it and not charge the fee based on your circumstances. But the warning of the fee is everywhere. No one can say they didn't know, because even if someone texts me and then I book them in, Fresher will still then send them a confirmation email, and that confirmation email has the policy in it. So it's everywhere. But in saying that, like I was saying, it's a work in progress, because there are certain specific clients that are slightly more abrasive or more difficult to communicate with. Not people I don't like, but just people that on a certain day with a certain low number of like spoons, a certain low amount of people energy left to expend, I'll be like, okay, just cancel. I can't be bothered with this conversation today. I'm too tired. It's been a shit day. You're going to cancel. Fine, just go. And then the reason I know all these things is because that person is going to be the one that a month down the track, I'm like, oh, why did I let her get away with that? Because now she's doing it again. Or like, I'll go, I know that I always warn that next time it will happen. So I go into our text chain and I scroll up looking for when I warned them, so that I can then say, no worries, but as we discussed on the 7th of June, this will apply. And I'll scroll up and find myself saying, no worries. And then I go, oh, I've made my bed and I don't want to lie in this one. So then I have to turn around and say, okay, no worries, but just so that you know, going forward, we will have to do a 50% cancellation fee. Like, I have to word it. If I've let them get away with it twice and now made my bed, I have to lie in it, I'm going to have to reword it when I do reply with better energy on the back of a better day and say, yeah, like, okay, no worries, but going forward, this is going to have to happen. Like, but yeah, it's just very much a work in progress.
And I think that's such a good point though too, because it doesn't mean to be like, it doesn't mean that you can just be like, oh, I've never set that boundary, so it's too late now, because it's not too late. Like, you can start making those changes and implementing all of those things as soon as you want to, like, and some clients might be like, oh, but you never used to, but I guess you can just be like, well, I do now, like.
Or like a few episodes ago, we were talking about putting our prices up. And I was saying to Pat, you were for sure there. I'm trying to think who else was in the episode, probably Mel. I was saying like, well, Pat asked a question about what you do when you announce your price increase on Instagram. And I was like, why would you announce it? Like, the only people that need to know are the ones that it directly impacts. So you contact them individually to make sure they see it, but you don't need to tell publicly that your prices are going up. People will work it out when they book for the first time. And I think it's the same if you have decided you need to start enforcing this from now on. I see people on social media post and go, hey, I'm going to have policies from now on, and this is what they are. And they put all their policies up. I'm not saying like that's a terrible idea to have your policies up on social media. Like, if you're posting them so that you can make a stories highlight, or so that you can make a 9 grid, or like whatever, sure, go for it. Definitely not saying you shouldn't have them up everywhere, because the more people that know, the better. But I don't think you need to announce you're doing it from now on, because that is the opposite of a one-up. In a client's mind, it's a one down. Like, well, now they're being strict. You can just say like, I have policies, not I'm starting a policy. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, if you're to put it up on Instagram, whatever, do whatever you like, but I just don't think you need to, because what you can do is update your booking software, update your website, just put those updates there. Cool. Every booking from now on, they've been told because you did update it. And then it's not like, if you have 100 clients, it's probably 3 of them that actually need to know. So, or 3 of them that are the issue and the reason you're suddenly putting a policy in place. So we don't need to tell the other 97 that you're going to put your big girl pants on and you're going to be bossy from now on. Like, no, they don't need to know that you're doing it. I think you just update your website, update your booking software, and then as people do it, say, no worries, but just letting you know from now on this will apply. And that way no one needs to know that you're being like, not that it's negative to set boundaries, it's not, but I just think like, do you know what I mean? I don't know if my sentiment is coming across.
I think that's really good. Okay, so I was just thinking as you were talking, Penny, that like that's the good thing about using a booking software, because it's nothing personal. Like you said, the clients like if I'm the client, for example, if I get a pop-up, like let's say I've booked with Erin like for 2 years, and then one day I get a pop-up that says you need to agree to this policy, I will just read it and be like, oh cool, and then I'll accept. Like, who cares? Like, I was gonna show up to the appointment anyway. It's not personal to me. But if I got like a heartfelt text message being like, just so you know, from now on, I am doing this, I'll be like, is this like directed at me or is like in general? But if it's just like with your booking software, it just pops up automatically. It's nothing personal. Like, cool, she charges a booking fee. Who cares? Like I mean, I care in the sense that if I do something that will, I guess, trigger the fee, then cool. But at least I know. It's not like Erin saying, Pat, you were a bad client and now I'm targeting you, like
Yeah.
but maybe I was the bad client.
No, I think that's a really good point.
One of the other things, I have these like notes that I wrote down, so I'm like, just if it sounds disjointed, I'm checking back my list of notes and making sure we covered everything I want to talk about today. But like one of the other things is, so a pro in the face of deposit or booking fee versus cancellation fee is legally you can't enforce a cancellation fee. So on Fresher and stuff, I can, because they literally ticked and said, yes, you can take my money, and they gave their card. That's fine. But if you don't have a system like that, if someone cancels and you say, there's a 50% cancellation fee, please bank transfer it, blah, 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 they don't have to. And that's fine, because I think we've said in a previous episode, that's fine. We don't care if they do or not. It's just if they ever want to book again, they have to. So if they don't want to pay it, that's fine. Just don't come back. We didn't need a client like that anyway. But at least with a deposit or a booking fee, they have to pay it to book. So they are choosing to pay it. They're essentially prepaying their cancellation fee, if that makes sense. And therefore, legally, you've not done anything wrong, because you weren't doing anything wrong the other way. But like legally, you said, okay, you can book, but you have to want to give me money, and they've gone, okay, I'll give you money. The other way round with a cancellation fee, you go, okay, but because you annoyed me, you have to give me money, and they legally can go, no thanks. So you've got, you've got more secure income with booking fees and deposits than you do with cancellation fees, which I feel like are the alternative option.
Yeah,
I think we did discuss this in the refunds episode. Like, something about like if they give you the deposit from the beginning, then it's like you've entered into the contract. And so if they back out by canceling last minute or something, then they still owe you that money, and so you keep it. But on the other hand, if it's the cancellation fee, you can't then chase them up or something. So that makes sense. And I guess that is a point in the favor of deposits. So I guess whatever you decide to do, it's really important you look at the pros and cons of both. And if you're going to do the cancellation fee way, you need to make sure that at the very least you are using a booking software that allows you to take the card and charge it. Because otherwise, if you are just saying, I'm going to charge you the cancellation fee, and you're just chasing people up with bank account transfers, then you're shit out of luck if they don't want to pay it, right? So it's like, what are your contingencies in place?
Not to mention the admin of chasing them as well. Like being like, hey, here's the bank account number, please bank transfer this. Like having to send that message. Whereas if it's on the booking system and they've ticked the thing and and then you can just be like, yes, just take, all you have to do is click OK or whatever is the prompt is. Then it's done. You don't have to send messages. You don't have to muck around with that stuff. So much better to do it that way, I think.
Also, random thought, but you can ask deposits for specific occasions. So you could say, like, it would work for the week before Christmas, or it could work for stuff like that. But if you were to offer a package deal, right? You're like, because we don't encourage discounting for promotion, but if you were like, hey, in the month of March, if you book a mani and a pedi, you get a free paraffin dip, whatever. You could say the special requires prepayment, or this special requires a 50% deposit, and there's an incentive for why they want to do it, because they're going to get the free paraffin dip. But that could actually be a really good way for you to get cash injections. Like, I know back in the day, I don't think it's really that much of a thing anymore, but back like 10 years ago or so, people used to use the deal sites all the time, like One Day and Grab One and stuff like that. Was such a thing, and I really don't think they are. I know they exist, but they're very different. Back like 10 years ago, we would get I don't know if you guys remember this, and for those of you who aren't in New Zealand, I'm sorry, but like there's this thing called One Day, and the whole point of it was that every day, One Day sent you an email, and it was for 3 individual items that you could buy super cheap for one day. And it might be like you could get a case of Coca-Cola for half price, or you could get this lipstick that had been overstocked for 80% off, or like it would be 3 crazy deals that were for random as reasons, but they were available for 24 hours. And it was so fun. And in my like office that I worked in, we would be like, did you see what's on One Day today? Are you getting it? Like all this random crap. Like me and a friend, because I was 21 at the time, we bought these folding bicycles for like $25 each once, and just took them up the top of Mount Wellington, which is not in Wellington, it's a hill, but took them up the top of the hill and just rode these tiny like clown-sized folding bicycles down the hill one time, thought it was hilarious, and then like lost them. I don't know, I never rode mine again. But like One Day was fun like that, and there was all these other things around the same time where beauty professionals would put themselves on Grab One or One Day and stuff like that. And it's a terrible idea. It attracts 100% the wrong type of client, because I would do it all the time for stuff like brows that I didn't really care back in the day. Now I do care who I go to, but like I didn't care. So I would just be like, I need my brows done. Better go on Grab One. And you'd just get the cheapest thing that you could get. So it's a terrible idea for marketing. I'm not recommending it. But what it was great for was a cash injection, because you could put yourself on Grab One and then sell 50 manicures for half price, get a few $1,000s in your bank account to help you set up your like new color collection or whatever new service. And then the downside being that now you had to actually do the 50 manicures, and it felt like you were doing them for free. But you got a cash injection. It was a really easy way to get a few $1,000s all at once, guaranteed. But so that doesn't exist anymore, which is sad. The websites are still there, but now they're just like, they may as well be Temu. Like they just have heaps and heaps of stuff, and they never go away, and it's just a deal site. Anyways, you could use deposits and booking fees, was my point before that tangent, to do a deal which is not discounted but value added. And if you want to know more about promoting to the right kind of client, go to www.monaco.ac.nz/magnet and join our free 5-day marketing training, The Client Magnet. But if you did a value added deal and required a deposit for it, that would be a really good way to get cash injections.
Yeah. It's funny actually, Penny, because I remember those sites. I loved them as well.
It was so fun.
Yeah. And they were really good. I'm not sure which one in particular it was, but they'd be really good for like you could get a service on your vehicle for like 50% off.
Yes.
Or think whatever. And I was like, yes, perfect. And I'd always use those ones. They were so good.
One year around Easter, they had cartons of cream eggs, and they would limit it to like 3 per customer, 5 per customer, whatever. But they were so heavily discounted that for the salon, we bought like 3 cartons of cream eggs or something. Well, I say carton, like literal boxes of Cadbury cream eggs. And we just had them on the desk. But we had bought so many of them because they were crazy cheap that we just like had cream eggs for like lunch every day for some
Yum.
months. Like all that, we just lived on cream eggs. It was
I love
fantastic.
cream egg. They're so
Back
good.
when I was early 20s and had a metabolism.
Yeah. Wouldn't get away with it now.
Not a chance. Now it's like a cream egg and you can see it pop out your bum.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. See that weight there?
Yeah, it doesn't take much. And it's so hard to shift it again.
Honestly. I wonder as well if deposits and booking fees, we should have asked Nikita from Nails on Wheels what her thing is, because she's a specifically mobile nail tech. But
Yeah.
there's probably a lot of benefit to deposits for mobile as well, because what if you get there and they cancel when you're halfway to the mobile location, or like you're booking out a lot more time for a mobile booking than you are for someone turning up to you.
Yeah, 100%. And I think like, and just covering those travel costs. So like you say, if you're halfway there, it's like you've already spent half that travel time and money.
I'm literally going on Nails and Wheels to like see her terms and conditions.
Oh yeah, tell me what they are.
Okay, cancellations and reschedules, which I got from her link tree. Very handy, Nikita. Very smart to have that. So you can cancel or reschedule within 24 hours before your appointment time and day at no cost. If you are a new customer and this is your first experience with us and cancel after 24 hours, your deposit will be taken and a new deposit will be required for your next appointment. If you cancel or reschedule 24 hours beforehand, your deposit will be transferred to your new appointment time and day. If you are a repeat customer and cancel within 24 hours of your appointment, the full travel cost will be charged. If I come to your house and you are not there, Nails on Wheels will wait 15 minutes and try and contact you. Once 15 minutes is over, Nails and Wheels will assume the appointment has been canceled. And then for deposits, she's got first timers, please deposit $15 to secure your appointment. If deposit is still required, the booking will only be pending for 24 hours. Outside of 24 hours, Nails on Wheels cannot guarantee the allocated booking time will still be available for you. It says that if you're paying via Afterpay or Zip, then no deposit is needed.
That's so good and so thorough and just covers
So
her
thorough.
so well.
There's so much. Like how good. Like she's got a full page for her terms and conditions. Yeah, and then I think you fill out the form. Like
The
how
only
good.
thing would be like, I wonder who actually reads all of that, but then at the same time, that's not her problem, because if you don't read it, that you still ticked that you agreed or you still booked and paid the deposit. So actually, like, if you didn't, it's not her problem to make sure people read it.
Yeah, it's definitely not her problem. It's like we sign up for a website, right? And then we scroll down and we go, yeah, I agree to the terms and conditions. But none of us read all that legal jargon, but it still is binding.
Yeah.
Assuming it's not something wackadoodle. But yeah, how good. Okay. Very organized, Nikita. Shout out to you. She needs to come on the podcast sometime.
Yeah. Okay, so before we wrap up this episode, what are your guys' number one takeaways from this discussion? Is there anything that you're going to implement or change? Or if not, what would you tell a newbie to be the number one takeaway?
Me personally, I am going to jump on my booking software tonight and I'm going to go and have a look and see if my policies are on there. So I can't remember. So I just want to make sure that I've got policies on there and then require a card on file. That way I don't have to worry about requiring a deposit. Because if the software will chase it up for me and there's a card, then it's fine. That's my thinking.
And it removes that personal thing that you were talking about before, because there's no conflict with the machine.
Yes, the machine said so. It wasn't me. It was the system.
Exactly.
I love that. I think I will probably, my takeaway is that I want to have a conversation with the lady I contract with about Christmas time and whether we are going to do it this year. I hope we do. And I think my number one thing to a newbie is, just get those policies and procedures in place and, action it as soon as possible so that you're setting that standard from the start. And then you don't have to be worried about later down the track, like me, trying to set better boundaries.
Which actually, I just realized, which I should have planned ahead, but we have a Salon Success module called Policies to Protect Yourself from Difficult Situations. It's only $15. And that module, if you go onto our website, www.monaco.ac.nz, and go under business and marketing or just search policies, that actual module has templates for all of the policies. It's got templates for copying and pasting your refunds, your deposits, your cancellations, like policies about children in the salon, fixing other people's work, like all of that. There's all templates and all this stuff, and it's literally 15 New Zealand dollars, which means if you're in the US, I'm pretty sure that means it's like $7 or $8 or something. Like, it's cheaper. So yeah,
Amazing.
just a little plug, because I just realized, oh crap, people could be using that. Alrighty.
And then use a code and get 10% off that.
Oh, which code might that be, Erin?
Well, mine is Little Moon.
And mine is Tentative.
So those codes for 10% off any of our courses, not just the $15 ones. You could get any of our courses. But with that done and dusted, before you disappear, like our page or follow the podcast so that you don't miss the next episode. Spotify now also has the ability to comment. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, please chuck a comment down and say hi, because that's so fun. We'll be back next week. Pat, what are we doing next week?
So next week is going to be an interesting one. The idea is that we're going to talk about matching the right service to your client. We've noticed at Monaco that people seem to always be asking questions like, my client has this situation, what should I do? And so let's just talk about it. What are we going to say when clients want something, but it's not right for them? What should we look out for? What are lifestyle factors? And most importantly, hello, be confident. You're the professional.
So fun. I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
So until then, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, or TikTok actually, by searching Monaco Nail Academy, or follow our salons. Mine is Hard Lacquer NZ.
Mine is Patsative Beauty.
And mine is Little Moon Nails.
Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Practice.
Bye.